Hello and welcome back to the Kotlin tutorial series. In this video we're going to be going over classes. Classes are very important, especially in regards to object-oriented programming, and it is a very fundamental concept, especially when developing mobile apps. So let's get to it. So class, we're going to go ahead and make a class. Class is the keyword. So we're going to call this class person. All right, and then we'll go over passing parameters in the next video. But for simplicity, we're just going to create a class with no parameters. We'll create a member variable equals name. Oh, excuse me. What am I doing? There we go. Name equals, let's go with, I don't know, John this time. All right, and then let's see. So we have a name here. Before we go any further, let's talk about now how we can access this class. How can I get this name into the main function? So what we need to do is we need to create an instance of this class. We need to create our own class object, a new person essentially. So the way we would do that is we'd create a variable that's going to hold as our person information. So we will call it person, lowercase, and we'll just have it equal person. All right. Now, if you take a look, excuse me, getting a little ahead of myself. We type in person, our variable name, and if we press dot, then we can start tapping into the class. So now we can see name. All right. So let's go ahead and print line this this name. Okay. And we go ahead and run it. There we go. And we can see John right there. Okay. So that's how we access a variable in another class. All right. So now let's go and add a function in here. Function build name. All right. So this is going to take in a last name, and this is going to be a string. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pass in information from main into this function, and then I'm going to build John plus the last name, and then I will have it display I'll have it display in the main function. So we can just say, let's do this. Actually, we're going to return a string, and then full name equals name. And for this, we can actually just concatenate this plus last name, and first we'll add a space right there, and then we can just return full name. All right. And we are having, oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, that took me a second. I'm sorry. That was weird. Okay. Cool. So now we can actually access this. So person, instead of accessing this name here, we can access build name, and let's give a, you know what, what's a good last name? Anderson. Whoops. All right, let's add this around as a string. There we go. All right, so now we run. What we have here is we have the name Anderson. We passed it into, so we have our object, our person object, and then we tapped into this function just by pressing dot. or by adding this dot, so we can tap into the available variables and methods. So inside of this method, now we can access, now we have to, of course, supply a last name, which is Anderson, and it returns the full name, this name, and the last name. So what if we made it private? If we made this private, then this name is not accessible outside of this class. So let's take a look at this. It's a person. Now let's tap into the class. Notice how if I type in name, it says I can't access it because it's private. But I can still access a method that uses it. And so I can still have access to the logic behind it, but I can't have access to the name directly. All right. Let's see. So that will actually conclude our first lesson with classes. We're going to be going over classes extensively in the later videos, but that is just an introduction to classes and how we can start using them and how we can access them as well in our other functions or classes as well. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.